Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
Greetings and salutations, friends. Welcome back to one more little round of Dune, as we are wrapping up the mid-game and beginning to head in towards the late game and PvP now. So today I figured we'd do a little bit of questing, a little bit of mining, a little bit of preparations, as I also need to think about shifting my entire base somewhere else, which is going to be an undertaking. Oh boy. Going to be an undertaking indeed. As I've made a little forward refining facility over here, but more and more I think about it, it might be better to just shift the entire fat old bitch over there. As the original assumption of, you know, creating a place close to the central hub, which is Anvil, well, now that I realize that I can simply just pop into my little Ornithopter here and fly off the map and into the desert, suddenly being close to the trade hub of the region is a lot less important. And welcome to Kill Tafir, as well as become a bridge god worshipper. Welcome, sir. Hope you enjoy your stay here. Warpstone endued cyst successfully cut out in time for stream. Yay. Speaking of cysts, I also need to finish a video on California today, as unironically, what is happening in California right now is it's not even an insurrection. It is a rebellion right now. That's what's going on in California. See, an insurrection is one thing. An insurrection could technically, theoretically be at least somewhat congenial to a certain degree. What's going on in California is simply just a uprising. A straight-up, honest-to-God rebellion with the intent to eventually destroy the United States. Which, again, may seem somewhat hyperbolic, but no. I do indeed think that is the end goal of what's going on there. Not statedly, of course, not obviously, they're not going to go out and say it, but when you have a coalition of every single anti-American group in the US, everything from Antifa to Marxists, outright communists, and people wielding the Mexican flag coming together to go, yes, America is evil, and we will prevent it from enforcing its laws, well, how much more evidence do you need, I suppose? How much more evidence do you need, I suppose? I'm probably gonna try to endeavor to get the next level of truck before I move base, because that way I will hopefully be able to shift quite a lot of ass simultaneously. God willing. Alright, let's charge that one up as well. That'll give me a nice extra boost of water, which I am going to need kind of badly if I want to convert all of that aluminium into something useful. So, truck. How you doing today, truck? You're doing, well, not as bad as you could be doing. You'll probably survive the trip. In fact, I'll be so optimistic as to say you'll survive the trip and a return trip or two. Yes, indeed. Although, granted, I might want to bring along a little bit of welding wire in case it starts falling apart on me, which would be unfortunate. And yes, chat, game is fun. I am enjoying game. I will say I probably prefer Ark even more than I do this, because I fucking loved the whole idea with the dinosaurs and shit. God, I love the dinosaurs. I enjoyed the dinosaurs a tremendous deal. Ark is probably, not even probably, it is my favorite survival crafty game, like, ever. I have played a lot of Ark, and I love it. It's a very, very fun and engaging little video game. Right. let's get to a little bit of mining, shall we? I do have fuel, don't I? I do indeed have fuel. Look at that. I do indeed possess fuel. Fantastic. And it wouldn't be the worst thing if I picked up a little bit of granite on the way as well. Rum rum. Allow me boogie. Allow me boogie, boogie, boogie. Have a mini base set up with normal sun, thief, or whatever, and build storage. Break down your whole base and move it before abandoning this one. Yep, that's what I was thinking. That's why I've set up a storage base that I can pop back and forth between. I was originally intending the storage base to simply just be a place where I refined resources, but see, the issue is the sheer amount of water you need to refine resources. I know, water, a rare resource on Arrakis. A strange realization to have, and yet it is decidedly one that you should have. And so it's probably just easier to move everything. Oh, that is exactly what we're going to do. Oh, drum sand. It's very unfortunate. Whee! Look! Worm! Don't worry, it's far away. I've been nuzzled by the sandworm quite a few times. You know, the sandworm is actually a relatively gentle entity. It'll come up to you and it'll just, like, boop you with its snoot, like, boop. It's a warning. It's the sandworm going, haha, but next time I'm gonna get you. It's very kind. Honestly, you need to fuck up pretty bad to get eaten by the sandworm. Now, saying that, I have gotten eaten by the sandworm before, mind you. It's eminently possible to be eaten by the sandworm. It just requires you to make a mistake. Like, not knowing what quicksand is, for example. And then seeing a distant land off in the middle of the distance and going, huh. I wonder if I can get there. And yes, you can get there. Getting there wasn't the problem. Oh. Sandworm again there. Like I said, the sandworms are actually remarkably gentle creatures. They're not hostile per se, they're just, you know, around. And sometimes they can be rather cuntish. I was crossing the sand at one point, and the worm decided to not, you know, spawn in the middle distance, as it usually does, but instead pretty much directly next to me, so I presume Funcom decided to institute a little bit of RNG in exactly where the big boy pops up. Obviously, driving the Ornithopter gets rid of all of this problem, but the Ornithopter has somewhat severely limited transport capabilities. And it doesn't carry a mining laser, which is equally upsetting. Boom. Boom. Is this a game that will benefit from a limited wipe ever so often in the future? I don't necessarily think so, because bear you in mind, people are going to put a lot of effort into building shit, so wiping the server would probably be extraordinarily upsetting to literally everyone. Also, I wanted to listen to the fucking Arrakis thingy, because I realized the other day that there's radio stations in the game. There's like, how can there's like actual unironic Grand Theft Auto radio stations in the game, which is kind of adorable. And mind you, the bases do actually degrade. If you abandon your base, it does go away. Right. We're going to be carrying out a bit of a risky maneuver here. Risking it for the biscuit. We're going to try and drive between two fields of quicksand without getting caught in it and dead. I wouldn't recommend this maneuver, but it is a maneuver you can do. So you can only have, like, you can have one sub-fief, and the sub-fief is tiny, and you can have one main base, and the main base you can expand and make absolutely massive if you so choose, so... And I think there's, what, like 300 people? No, was it? There wasn't that many people per server, not in Hagia Basin anyway, so you're unlikely to get, like, too many player houses built up everywhere. Except for the handful of areas that become, like, heavily settled due to it being the most useful areas to be in. Which is the part of the reason why I'm moving away from Anvil, because Anvil at this point has been settled by, like, two or three dozen people, I think. It's getting a bit crowded. It's less Arrakis and more a suburban area. And there is something therapeutic about just driving around gathering shit. There really is. It's even more therapeutic now that I can use a truck to do it. Look at that. If only that lazy prick Lumlum was here to do this for me. Lumlum is enemy of state, incidentally. I've come to the conclusion of. Very much so enemy of state. The other day, I was getting ready to get the final upgrades for my new Dune rover. So I was kind of like, okay, I'm just going to get the next turret upgrade. That way, mining is going to be a lot less of a fucking pain in the ass. A lot less of a hassle, because I can just be in my boogie and everything I need. And so I logged on thinking, it's going to be so good. I'll just be able to do this, and I'll get ridiculous quantities of resources stupendously easy. And I go over to my fabricator and think to myself, well, that's odd. I'm pretty sure when I logged off, I had enough resources to do this. And then I look over into one of the corners of my base, where I see two massive aluminium safes that I did not construct there. And then I look on Discord, where there's a little message from the Lumlum going, hey Arch, I built some storage in your base because I'm moving. And suddenly, the location of my aluminium was revealed to me. It had been turned into safes. Fish is indeed enemy of humanity. Enemy of humanity, indeed. Now, I will also say, I do look forward to them adding more, like, things. Because right now, it's, this is basically all just pre-game. This is just building up resources, getting things, and eventually preparing to head out into the deep desert, where the main part of the game is the PvP area. I've always thought that to be a bit of a poor design decision as well, to basically make so much of the pre-game basically just a gateway to get to the actual video game. It was something you avoided in Ark because of the lack of focus on PvP, but on the other hand, if the PvP is really good and fun, then that might actually be good. I'm kind of hoping, in essence, that this will kind of be like a planet-side style game almost, but with base building mechanics as well, which would be a lot of fun. Art should know better. He really should. He really should. But we've all made mistakes in the past, you know? We've all done silly things like trusting a female with house keys. And we've all paid for it. And, okay, one of the things I do appreciate, so whenever I do an Ark server these days, I usually massively boost mining yield, like ×3 or something, you know? Where if you've got a gathering dino and you smack a tree, the beaver is full of wood immediately. Because gathering resources isn't the fun part. Building shit with those resources is the fun part. And the introduction of dinos in Ark that makes it easier to gather resources was really, really good and clever, and I enjoyed it a lot. The introduction of vehicles that do the same here is also a great idea. I really like that, because again, nobody necessarily enjoys gathering resources for hours and hours. They want to, you know, gathering resources is a path to an objective rather than the objective in and of itself. So having means and ways to speed up that gathering process is very much so appreciated. Also, I need more industrial pumps, don't I? Which I believe means I've got to visit the suckheads over here. Yes. Gotta visit the suckheads in Suck City. I did not get stabbed before by a key, chat. It was a knife, and it was less of a stab and more of a slash. Oh, not as dangerous. Besides, have you... Oh, I don't know. Besides, have you truly lived until somebody near and supposedly dear to you has tried to murder you? I don't think so. I believe that every man should have the experience where they realize for the first time that, oh, that's what my eyebrows are for. Eyebrows exist to prevent blood from pooling in your eyes. It's a valuable experience that I genuinely do think every man should have at least once in his life. It's a real eye-opener. Which is ironic, because you will learn about it in a situation because your eyes aren't clogged. It's a bit of irony in there, frankly. Now, how do I get to Suckhead Outpost again? Is it like this? It's like this, isn't it? I wouldn't mind a slightly easier to read map. And then... I think, no, yes, possibly. Oh, aluminium! I find it sort of kind of frightening that this is a planet where aluminium just grows naturally out of the fucking dirt. Oh, apparently I had a mission over here somewhere too. Oh, lovely. Fantastic even. Yes, but did any of them push you to suicide to steal your house? No, because, you know, that would be an actually abusive relationship. You wouldn't want that. Like, that's bad. A good relationship is a relationship in which the woman will make you better yourself to live, you know? Where you have to work to survive, and where waking up the next morning is not necessarily a given. That is kind of important. But you don't want to get pushed to suicide or anything. It's a bit too high of a hurdle. We shouldn't introduce too much in the way of psychological warfare to what should be a purely physical relationship. Yes, these guys use flamethrowers, by the way. Oh. It's rather upsetting that they use flamethrowers for warfare. Rather upsetting indeed. Oh boy, get up, that was a hand grenade. What is also rather upsetting is the sheer quantity of them. Oh, Jesus. So the first time I went over here, I was using the same weapons that I basically started the game with. Believe you me, that was fun and engaging. Holy hell, that was fun and engaging. It took me, I think 12 sniper rifle shots to the head, along with the DPS from my turret, to kill one of these sniper rifle people as they chased me around half the map. Now that is an abusive relationship. Also, can you imagine being a flamethrower trooper on Arrakis? That has got to be one of the shittiest jobs in the entire fucking universe. The heat, good God. Every time you fire your weapon, you deeply desire to just be shot. It's like, oh no. I've got to go into combat with a flamethrower on the desert planet again. I sure hope they fucking kill me. This new sniper rifle, however, as you can see, is significantly more effective than my old one. In fact, I think if I just hide behind the chicken wire a little bit... Ah, there you go. We've also poisoned the sniper rifle bullets, by the way, which... Jesus... See, a lot of people go on about how 40k is such a terribly overtop the universe, how crazy, like, oh my god, 40k is so retarded. No. Dune is so retarded. Dune is the universe in which we have poisoned sniper rifle bullets. Where even if the massive impact of the weapon itself doesn't kill you, then surely the cancer metastasizing dart embedded within your skull, well, it's definitely gonna put your ass fucking down. There we go. Dune is a crazy universe. Do flamethrowers have a slow enough velocity to penetrate shield? I would imagine so, yes. And even if they don't, well, here's the reason why you would want to use a flamethrower on a planet like Arrakis. Yes, it's going to be ridiculously uncomfortable, true. But remember, you're hunting Fremen. Where do the Fremen live? That's right, in water and airtight caves underground. Yes. It makes it the Ow. What even was that? It is the ideal situation for deploying a weapon that literally eats air straight out of the atmosphere. Oh, ow, ee. Come on, Mr. Flamethrower lad. There we go. Unfortunately for the defenders of this little outpost, however, they have allowed themselves enough comfort and breathing room to the point... I think there's a sniper out there somewhere. Ah, hello. You gonna need another one? Yeah. Safety's sake. Any more here? No? Good. So yeah, the flamethrower would be an absolutely excellent weapon. It would just also be an extraordinarily uncomfortable one. So, how much do you value winning the war, I suppose, is the question. How much would you really like to exterminate the Fremen? Ah, enemy AI. Sometimes a bit confused. Up, up. And then we wait for the poison to do its work. Ah, I do enjoy poison weaponry. I really do. Now, one wonders how smart it really is to, you know, then be draining their blood, because, you know, I killed these people by overloading their nervous system with poison, so... I feel as if drinking them may not necessarily be the cleverest of ideas. But I do pass it through a filtration system first, so... You know, I assume the filtration system gets rid of the majority of the neurotoxins. You know, at least the truly virulent parts. Uh-oh. Go, my little turret thingy. Make him regret the day he was born. Good turret thingy.
Trick or treat. Can I smell your feet?
Dragon Mage, do you think Relooted is a parody game? No. I don't think so. I think they've put in too much effort for it to be parody. I think it was made by people who are unironic black supremacists who actually who drink they drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. They have drunk the Kool-Aid. They've not only drunk the Kool-Aid, in fact, they've gotten into the Kool-Aid bottle, at which point they've deep-throated the Kool-Aid bottle until the cork, the very tippy-tip-tip, started poking out of their anus. That's how deep down their gullet the Kool-Aid is at this particular point in time. I came here for industrial pumps. I'd like more of them. Because you wouldn't put that much effort into something if you didn't buy it to a degree. And again, it seems too consistently put together to be a joke. I mean, surely if you were making a funny haha, you'd you'd leave in some indicator that it was a funny haha. Die. Ow, 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 ow. It's easy to get a little overconfident when you finally have weapons in this game. It's probably going to end up killing me sooner rather than later. Now, come on, video game. I really need some more of those industrial pumps. You really would think that a video game in which one of very few sources of water are huge, deep underground reservoirs that more people would be using pumps. But no. Apparently the sandflies are like the only people in this entire fucking planet that has figured out that pumping shit is useful. Oh, come on. Stand still while I'm shooting you. Tragically, I've come to the conclusion that shooting them in the knees does in fact not slow them down. God, you're still standing, huh? Shields are very, very good, which is why I should probably upgrade mine at some point, too. I don't know, I've seen some pretty dedicated trolls. I mean, that's true, Dragon Mage. There have been some pretty dedicated trolls in the past, but, this feels like too much to me. This feels like fanaticism rather than trollery, because there is definitely a difference between the two. Both require an enormous amount of zeal, if you will. Both require an enormous amount of commitment, but one is cringier than the other. And normally, when something is done for parody purposes, it should at least be obvious to the parodizing part that it's a parody.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
Oh, unfortunate. Take, for example, there was a thing a few years ago where 4chan decided to see if they could convince women to piss their pants for diversity, basically. For, what was it, rape victims? Pee your pants to show solidarity for rape victims. And they created a social, media campaign to further this idea that women should pee themselves to show that they cared about rape victims, right? Now, that is something that, on the face of it, is pretty goddamn ridiculous. And it was even relatively obvious. Oh, hold out. Thank you. It was even relatively obvious to the people they were trying to trick with it. They didn't manage to trick that many people with the pee yourself campaign, which is kind of heartening in a way. Uh-oh. There's the sandstorm. There it is. Come on, little buggy. Come on. There we are. Right. That was not tremendously gentle on my tracks.
Trick or treat. Can I smell your feet?
Did I somehow leave the fucking weldy shit behind? No, I just put it in there. Okay, that makes sense. Right. Right, load up the superfluous nonsense. I can drop that. Got him. Oh, the welding thing. God, fucking video game. Dumb video game. Give weldy thing. Thank you. Here, you may have that because it is big and useless. Weldy thing. And I don't see anyone on the opposing side pointing this out to be some sort of a joke. So, no, I'm pretty sure they're actually serious. I'm fairly certain that they actually do think this is a really, really good idea, and is in fact downright stunning and possibly brave as well. And there we are. Fortunate that the sandstorm caught me just as I was getting out of there and not later. Might as well pop by and pick up some intel whilst I'm in the neighborhood. So, Lux and Doppelganger, the God Army should use lethal force in LA. Well, I think that would unfortunately play directly into the narrative of the opposition in this case. There was already a clip of Maxine Waters, the crazy Democrat, going, "Listen, we know the National Guard are here with orders to shoot to kill. Otherwise, why would they have guns?" So, perfect 10 out of 10 deduction there, miss. I see why you were elected to one of the highest positions in the land. You clearly possess a razor-sharp mind, capable of deducing, arriving at logical conclusions that may have escaped the common man. A little cave. I think I shall visit that little cave. But, unironically, one of the problems is that... One of the problems is that California is unironically in a state of open revolt against the United States of America at this point. It is... Oh my god, that's a lot of flamethrowers. That is not a sniper rifle. Because I forgot to change up the welding tool. See, I like using 5 for the welding tool, but 5 is also like the only key that isn't already committed to something else, and so I keep using 5 for both the sniper rifle and sundry things. Which is unwise, because the sniper rifle is probably my most important weapon at this point. As it's the only thing that can deal with these flamethrower motherfuckers with a degree of efficiency. As normally, the way you would deal with shielded heavy weapons soldiers is by going up to them and stabbing them in the face, thereby getting around the whole "I have a giant heavy weapon" thing. However, if the giant heavy weapon soldier is currently carrying a flamethrower, the tactic of simply charging them becomes significantly less effective and significantly more suicidal at the same time, so not really a good idea anymore. Also, may I point out the inherent flaws in the strategy of defending your cave complex with flamethrowers? I feel as if the locals didn't really think that one through, as the moment they start fighting against the invaders, they're going to burn away their own air, and then they're going to choke to death. Which you really think would be a negative consequence, but apparently fucking not. And hey, what do I know about warfare? Now, I quite want that scythe thingy, actually. Here, you may have the small vehicle fuel cell, because it is fucking pointless to me. Here, give me that. Oh, don't drop all of that. What the... Right. Lovely. Okay, open revolt equals tanks and machine guns. Yes. Yes. I was working on a script for this, and I'll probably be releasing that video tomorrow, but the key thing here is that there is not a currently legal solution to the California problem in the US. There isn't. Because you now have a state within the Union that is simply not interested in obeying the laws of the Union. For all intents and proper purposes, ow, jeez, it is a rogue state. And with it being a rogue state, there's only so many things you can do. Because simply enforcing the law is no longer an option because they don't respect the law. They're not interested. You can send law enforcement to their city and go like, okay, listen. We are the duly appointed federal law enforcement officers of the United States, the union that you are a part of. These are the laws we've all agreed upon on a federal level. You're going to have to obey. At which point they simply go, no, what we're going to do is we're going to rebel. And whilst we are rebelling, we are going to demonstrate the colors of our actual allegiance. We are going to fly our flag to show you, without the shadow of a doubt, that we are not Americans. And when you've reached that point, there's no going back. That is an actual rebellion in the most traditional That is an actual rebellion in the most traditionally imaginable sense of the word. They're literally flying hostile flags. You die. Hello, Mr. Flamethrower Trooper person there. You just stay put right there. Good. Part of the time, the enemy AI in Dune is actually genuinely rather good. Like, they will continuously try to flush you out of cover, for example, by, throwing hand grenades. Or utilizing, like, static mines to trap you up and capture you so you can be killed in melee, and many other, like, actual tactics and things. And other times, the AI will have a bit of a hard time with that whole, moving instead of standing still and getting shot to pieces thing. Oh, push a push a push a puff. Oh. Like I said. Oh god, they still do hurt a lot. And this is even with the upgraded armor. Oh my. This is even with the upgraded armor. The first time I was here, I was using the basic bitch weaponry and like the tier 2 armor. That was amusing. Water. Don't mind if I do. I wish my turret was ever so slightly less retarded. Uh-oh. See? Now this is a non-ideal situation that actually somehow worked out surprisingly well. Right. I wasn't expecting stabbing the flamethrower trooper would work out so well. Hello, Dev. And Valumio, speaking of survival crafting, have you ever checked out V-Rising? It's a Diablo-like HNS mixed with survival and vampires, curry, worm, and Witcher DLC. I have seen it. It was very popular for a while, and then it stopped being popular, so I'm not sure what happened to it, but I do know of it. I do know of it. I've never tried it, though. I think I actually own it. In fact, I'm fairly sure I actually own it. I now need to find a way to get inside of the locked room. More useless weapon parts. Yay. Ah. Fortunately, the people of Dune tend to keep their keys very close to their locked. Very close to their locked doors. A habit that I really do appreciate quite a bit. I do like the idea, though. What was that game? Oh shit, there was a game. There's a game that's being developed right now by previous Witcher devs, I want to say. Which is supposed to be like some sort of vampire game, like vampire... I don't know if it was vampire survival, but more like... more like, blah, 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 blah. What's the name of that fucking game? The one with the vampire in it. You know the game, Dev. Castlevania. That one, yes. A more Castlevania style thing. That one looks quite good. I like the look of that one. And, whoop. Dawnwalker? Was that it? Dawnwalker. Yeah, Dawnwalker. That sounds familiar, chat. That sounds familiar. I see in chat there, too. What is Atomic Heart 2 about? Let me tell you. Atomic Hearts 2... I am a squirrel's cock out of range, aren't I? Atomic Hearts 2 is about earning more money. That's what Atomic Hearts 2 is about. Because originally they were supposed to put all of the game out as basically DLC for the first one. But then the developers realized that, hey, hold on there a microsecond. We'll earn way more money if we make a full $60 release instead. Wow, imagine that. And yes, imagine that. One of Creative Assembly's normalized fucking tactics. Atomic Hearts. See, again, Atomic Hearts, for the very first game that a studio produces, was, on many levels, very, very, very impressive. Oh, hi there. Meow. Was very, very impressive. Technologically, it was very impressive. Graphically, it was very impressive. Gameplay-wise, it was very impressive. All for a first-time company. But, God, like, it was too long. It was just too damn long. The game felt genuinely tiring near the end. Like, I did not want to fucking play anymore. They could have cut like 6 hours out of the first one and have it be just about right. And then they added out several pieces of DLC, and some of that DLC focused around the things that people hated the most. The silly Otherworld thing, and it's, oh god, too fucking much. Too long, too long. And of course, none of that was made any better by the fact that the game constantly teased the Robo Twins, and then went like, oh, you can't get the Robo Twins in this game, but don't worry, we're gonna do DLC. Okay. Right, well, I'm still intrigued enough by the Robo Twins, so I'll do the DLC. Oh, not that DLC. You're gonna need to get the next DLC. And then that DLC comes out, and yet again, it's like, no. Listen. You're gonna need to buy the expansion for the Robo Twins. I'm not that interested. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna need to buy the next expansion. You have somehow succeeded in ruining my interest in the Robo Twins. You have somehow, through an act of pure black magic and exhaustion, managed to get the internet sick and tired of big tits and asses. Which is an achievement the likes of which I have very rarely seen the equal of. Tragic. Tragic indeed. And yes, chat, I do indeed intend to play Stellar Blade, though I think Stellar Blade releases on Thursday, right? And this Thursday, we will finally be returning with Stamford Bridge, so that will, of course, take precedence. So I'll probably play Stellar Blade on Friday, then, in all due likelihood. Oh. There's the sandworm come to boop me with its snoot. Really does look just like a giant submerged penis, doesn't it? Right. I think this is the safe crossing point. Oh. Oh, well, it better be the safe crossing point, because if I get caught in that beam in the middle of sandworm territory, my ass is decidedly grass. Oh, you fat truck. Alright, that's not for me. It's fine. It's fine. I've lived. An uncut peen as well? Yes, chat. Yes, correct. An uncut peen. And there it was. Oh. Right now, just give it a second to move away. Ah. The penises of Arrakis have not been mutilated by the Big Nose tribe. Which may or may not be a good thing. And yes, I did collect lots of blood for the Blood God. My entire industry runs off blood. Without blood, I would not be able to do anything on Arrakis. Uh-oh. Yes. I was about to say, I feel like I remember an area of drum sand in the vicinity here. Oh well. The penis is far away. It cannot hurt me. Low fuel. One of the many warning notes you don't wish to receive whilst being chased by a giant sandworm. Fear not. This is why we always store reserve fuel, chat. Is the game PvP or PvE? It's both. It's 98% PvE in the safe zone. So the safe zone is the Hagia Basin. In Hagia Basin, there are only small regions that are PvP, which are usually the areas where you get the special weapons, the special big boy weapons. Everything else is PvE in Hagia Basin. Then, the main part of the game, the spice harvesting segments in the deep desert, that is all PvP. That is an open PvP zone. So, basically, if you want the end game resources, the very end game resources, you've got to venture out into the danger section. But everything else can be done from the safety and security of the PvE zone. So, For most of the game, whilst you're building up resources, you're not going to get randomly sniped by some dude whilst you're out mining. It's going to take 7 quintillion years to turn all of this aluminium into another car. And that's eventually what we'll be doing the community events for. Since we have 2 guilds in the... Uh-oh. That's very close. That's very close. We will have 2 guilds. One will be the, like, little leadership guild. And then we will have a everybody else guild as well. So we can have up to, like, 60 people. And everyone will have access to the other guild buildings too, so you're not cut off from anything. Yeah, we can do PvP events. We'll go kill other people. And since we are also going to pick House Harkonnen, we will be ridiculously outnumbered because everybody else picked Atreides, because everybody else is a bit of a filthy goody two-shoes. Ah, home, sweet, safe home. That was a surprisingly quick mining trip, actually. Even with the additional little stops. And I have figured out how to move shit within inventory from one to another. This was a valuable thing to notice, because carrying all of this shit by hand, well, that was frankly just really fucking upsetting. Go recycle that. I think we shall... house drill shots, that's actually quite nice. But we'll recycle it for something new. Something prettier. I will restore that scythe, though. Oh, too much shit's online. My power situation is a pinch, stretched at the moment. Oh, the power pack is starting to look a little bit dodgy, too. Shit's breaking. Shit's breaking. Left, right, center. And I have no water. Well, all of the blood I deposited will slowly but surely start helping with that. Mandislord, is this a game you are going to stick with? For a while, I intend. I haven't tried the PvP yet, so that'll be the big deciding factor of how interesting it'll be long term, but I do intend to play it for a while, yes. I do have a nice and addicting personality when it comes to these things. Addictive. I probably shouldn't be hoarding yet more shit whilst I'm thinking about, you know, moving bases at some point, but listen. I need to store all of this garbage somewhere, and I'm sure at least some of this is actually valuable, I think. About 92% certain that some of this is actually valuable. Or Solari coins for the giant coin pile. I'm sure the Solari too will at some point be actually worthwhile, or worth something or other. I also am supposed to be locating the fucking trials and stuff, but I'm already flooded with research points, so I don't really even know if there's any
Sector
true point in
weather
it.
alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
How much a respec? 48 hours. Oh, that's not bad. No cooldown. Nice. Much more efficiently. Fuel conversation. That would be nice, actually. Yeah, 15 minus fuel. That would be amazing. Oh, less fuel usage. Yeah. Max durability repair. Yeah, I should probably go out and start doing the planetologist quest chain. That'd be smart. And now we sit here waiting for the dust storm to pass us by. How you doing, little Ornithopter? You flight worthy for a while more? Yes. I mean, your scanner module is about to break literally straight off the chassis, but that's not technically speaking relevant to anything. Nobody needs a scanner module. Scanner modules are largely superfluous. God, it's going to be a fucking nightmare to move all of this shit, I swear to Jesus. A genuine, unironic goddamn nightmare. Now, where's that sandstorm? I think I need to go here for the next planetologist quest line. They've also had a lot of plans for the game. What's up?
An empathy that Hurricane will never understand. I long to return to a place where compassion and justice are not just words, but values. Perhaps diminished by time and harsh circumstances, but
I do love the radios. Even though they don't always work.
Well, didn't we have a security inspection last month?
We did, but that one needed some time off after his visit.
I do love the radios. I hate the fact that they don't even advertise having the radios. Weren't you talking about a sandstorm or something? Where's this supposed fucking sandstorm? Fucking lying bitch. Right, well, if there's not going to be a sandstorm, as I have not desired to waste the enormous quantities of resources required to create a one-directional shield from which to lift off my Ornithopter, I have instead decided to fix this by simply blowing a hole in the roof whenever I need to leave. As I have decided that the strain on the airframe is not as important as my laziness. I'll probably have to install an actual shielded roof in the proper base. Ah, the Ornithopter is such a lifesaver. It is so much more convenient. So long as all you're doing is basic little quests and gathering just a little bit of stuff, the Ornithopter is, beautiful. But yeah, no, they've got a lot of plans for the game. They've teased going to other planets. They've teased that the first major expansion pack will be introducing the ice caps, the water barons of Dune. They've been talking about, of course, adding in more just content via things like content packs and giving you the ability to make your homes actually look pretty. they had an interesting idea as well, where they wanted to finance the game via cosmetics, which at first makes me sigh a little bit, like, oh, good. Maybe a nickel and dime us on making our places look nice, huh? Just like in Conan, sigh. But they also then mentioned that they want to try and make the expansion packs free, which is rather intriguing. So, a bit more of a volunteer economy. I like the sound of that. Of that. Because then you can voluntarily add money to the game by purchasing, like, the cosmetics, which doesn't give you any benefits beyond making your house look good, and I would do that because I am a bit of a prissy bitch when it comes to making my house look good. And so far, there just haven't been enough stuff to make my house look good. And then everyone will get all of the expansion content. I like that idea because it will also mean that the expansion content will be naturally more populated. Instead of putting the content behind a $60 paywall, everybody gets access to it, and therefore there'll be more people around to play with. If that turns out to be a, you know, functional business model, then I think it'll be a really good and really fair one. I hope so, at least. Now, there's supposed to be some sort of imperial planetologist person around here somewhere. Are you over there? Are you? Oh. Don't worry, chat, he's not an imperial planetologist. If he was, I couldn't shoot him. Right, where is this guy? Is he on one of the cliffs nearby, maybe? He's probably on the cliffs or something, isn't he? Old bastard. Come on, where are you? I need a quest from you. He might be in the hole as well, but last time he was on like an outcropping nearby, so... Well, nothing obvious. He might be in the hole. Ah, well. In the hole we go.
The contracts have all been signed and certified, Captain, and your advance has been passed on through CHOAM channels.
CHOAM!
This operation is costing me a
there you
fortune,
are.
so I expect quick results. My agents
Don't shoot, don't shoot! I'm unarmed! Keep your voice down, please! The CHOAM! So I retreated.
CHOAM!
And I've been here considering my option. I'm just remembering how competent a certain somebody was. Here's what I am proposing. You get in return. Once again,
Microfilms. Okay, well, there it is. Let me guess. The mission is simply just to kill everybody who is inside this place, yes? And then drink their blood, or feed it to my machinery, one of the two. Either way, the blood shall be consumed. That's next anyone. U.S. Marine attack choppers are flying over LA. But what is an attack chopper, huh? What do we define as an attack chopper? Is it Dev's definition of troops?
Welcome, visitor, to Imperial Desert Testing Station number 197. I am Station Supervisor James Brown.
I had to have a lengthy conversation with Dev last night to explain to him the difference between a soldier and a militia. I think I got through to him eventually. But it was long and hard work to explain to him the difference between an enlisted man and a non-enlisted man. Come at me, boy. No, somebody else is down here. Is that a... I don't know if that's a player or not, but I'll just leave it to my turret. If it's a player, the turret can't kill him, so there you go. If it's not a player, well, the turret will kill him. So there you go as well. Sometimes there are actually slaver raids on outposts, which is kind of cool. I like that.
Heresy is the question. Fire is the answer.
It's thematic. Although it can also be a bit stressful when you arrive at a base wanting to do something nice, quick, and simple. Then you realize that it's currently being raided by bandits, and therefore there's about 3 times as many dudes there. All of whom are equally hostile to yourself. Completed. Clear out the bats. Oh, right. I'm supposed to be bleeding you. I keep forgetting. Where's the next one? No, it's full-on US military on the streets now. Trump should heed my advice and consider the locals of Los Angeles to be foreign combatants. It is the only way, to be sure. Are you full of blood? You are. Delicious. Actually, you're not full of blood. That was only 500 milliliters.
I see someone.
A rather pathetic amount of blood to be in a human being. They've already all leaked out and shit. I'm very wasteful of the raiders to not take proper care of their victims' bodily fluids. Don't they understand that shit's valuable here? I wish the game had a nice automated assault rifle somewhere. Oh, there's the mimic film I needed. I tried using the SMG, because, like, SMG go Bert, fun. And it does go Bert, but... the problem is it goes Bert a little bit too hard, so you can't actually, you know, hit anything with it, which is inconvenient. You waste a lot of ammunition, and you achieve very little. Non-ideal for military purposes. Neil Halsnader, can you explain the difference between enlisted and militia and how that maps onto the National Guard versus Army? Oh, it's very simple. A soldier is an enlisted person, somebody who is enlisted into the armed forces, as in currently serving, enlisted. Whereas a militia member is a member of the armed forces, which is the generalized term for military, who is a volunteer, who is signed up for voluntary service. They are not a soldier, as they are not in permanent military service. They are a civilian 98% of the time. The National Guard is a militia formation. It is not the part of the army, it is a branch of the army. You could also call them territorials. That would be equally accurate if you want to use an old school term. As militia occasionally comes with some negative connotations of being untrained weekend warriors. Because more often than not, they are untrained weekend warriors. And that's fine. That's why you use the National Guard and the militia for different things than you use the army. The usage of a militia, the militia in the US, the National Guard, is a little bit different. The original purpose of a militia was stemming from the French how the fuck am I missing? From the French idea of the gendarmerie, which was basically a militarized form of police. This was intended to take care of things like literal, actual open revolt, which is again why the usage of the National Guard is very appropriate in the case of California, as it is in open revolt. This became very popular during the 1800s and late 1700s, as large-scale public uprisings became more and more common due to political reasons. The nation could no longer trust its populace to remain loyal to the nation, and therefore they needed some form of loyal and organized military force that could be employed potentially against both the populace and the enemies of the nations, but they also needed it to not be a part of the established military, because the established military also couldn't be trusted not to rebel. In fact, a lot of the rebellious sentiments that we saw in, for example, France, and to a smaller degree in Prussia and Germany, were fomented by the army. And of course, the Russian Revolution was only a success because of its ability and close ties with the Navy and its own army. This was also one of the reasons why the American Revolution, the South shall rise again, failed. Because whilst it had access to a lot of the generals, America didn't have a standing army at the time that could be convinced to follow aforementioned generals. Which meant the generals were just in charge of the militia. Now, in the course of the case of the US, of course, the militia was not first and foremost created to protect the government against the people, which is what it was the Gendarmerie and the Landwehr in Germany. Instead, it was intended to protect the people against foreigners, foreign occupation. First and foremost, the British maybe coming back and taking back their shit, but that, of course, didn't happen before America became a far larger military power. So these days, the National Guard in the US is, in essence, a form of Landwehr / Gendarmerie, with added civilian benefits, of course, like disaster relief, riot control, policing services, these things. And they do have limited police capabilities and rights. Like, they can, for example, affect arrests, but those arrests must be under their own jurisdiction. That was Dev's contention from yesterday as well, that ICE could not ICE, that the National Guard couldn't arrest people. And that's why they shouldn't have been mobilized, whereas the National Guard, of course, can arrest people. They cannot be mobilized to arrest people, as you can't go like, hey, get out there and arrest these rioters. But once they are mobilized under the Insurrection Act, for example, then they can, under their normal powers, arrest people. Wasser. Actually, I am... Oh my god, ice! Holy shit, I was too I was too busy ranting on about shit that I forgot I didn't notice the ice. Holy shit, ice. That must have cost a pretty penny. They don't call them Imperial research facilities for nothing, I see. Oh. Suddenly, I'm surrounded by bad people. And so, to finally finish the thought, deploying the National Guard is basically just deploying a larger police force with more gear and more resources, in essence. Whereas deploying the army, well, to steal a quote from Battlestar Galactica that is actually fairly accurate, the reason why you have a police force and an army, and you don't simply have them, you know, fulfill the same role, is because the purpose of the army is to protect the nation against foreign enemies. Whereas, of course, the purpose of a police force is to protect the nation against criminals. If you give the role of policing to the army, who is intended to protect the nation against foreign enemies, enemies of the state, then criminals and people tend to become enemies of the state. Non-ideal. Which is why you don't want to deploy the army to do this stuff. Now, of course, that is all under the assumption... Oh, are you running away?
I'm coming for you, Scott.
There you go. Now, of course, that is all under the assumption that the criminals aren't enemies of the state, of course. Whereas in the case of what's happening in California right now, these are actually, unironically, enemies of the state. They are, for all intents and purposes, foreign combatants. They have come into the nation. They are fighting for, quote, their people. They are waving their flag. And even the president of Mexico has stated that we need to provide support for our people. These are not Americans. These are foreign combatants, and the simple presence of a piece of paper that declares them to be American, a passport, does not change that fact. Right. At least that is my ever more slightly strident opinion on the matter.
Welcome, visitor, to Imperial Desert.
And again, I admit it is a bit of a radical one, but I do think it is also a undisputably correct one. There's your microfilm, sir.
Good. I haven't dared to move too far. I don't think I can rely on my... I knew I could count on you, of course. Thank you, friend. Planetology is a practical vocation, but I've never been much of... Meet me at my camp in the South Haga Basin.
Trick or treat.
I don't think this is a conducive...
Alright, is that, Where was his camp? It was over here, wasn't it? I'm assuming that's what he, refers to when he's talking about his camp in the Haga Basin. Oh. Oops. Rare bit of rag. I don't like a little bit of rag. hit rag. 3 hours later, thank you for the explanation. You're very welcome, sir. I hope it made sense. Why do they have shields on whilst on Arrakis? Well, it's one of those little, liberties that the game's developers have made. They wanted to have shields because shields are cool, and the entire idea of the slow blade penetrates the shield is also really cool. And so the developers were like, we want that in. That's really cool. We want that. But, of course, in the lore, any shield, any personal shield whatsoever on Arrakis drives the worms into an absolute feeding frenzy. So they decide to ignore that. And I'm mostly fine with it, because I like the shields too. And they don't have las weapons, they have bolt weapons that fire little silly arrows. So, you know, you avoid the whole nuclear explosion when you shoot the shields
I've been
thing.
thinking about kinds in the testing station. I remember. For the older generation, it's why Pardo...
Yeah, give me more paleontology stuff.
Kinds. Then pay attention. A planet, relationships.
A planet is a planet. Thank you, sir. That was very enlightening. I appreciate it. Planet equals a big ball of dirt. Right, planetologist. That'll be nice. Less fuel consumption, more repair. Very, very wonderful. Hexy, a special task force is necessary to subdue Mexico. Well, you don't need to subdue Mexico. You just need a special task force to subdue California. And yes, denaturalizations are necessary. They absolutely are. See, the idea, theoretically, it should indeed be impossible to deprive a person of citizenship. Because this is obviously something that could very easily be exploited. If you could, you know, denaturalize political enemies or, you know, groups of people, etc. There are many, many ways to abuse this, so you would preferably have a system where once you're a citizen forever. That would be the preferable way of doing things. However, this system obviously assumes that you can rely on the loyalty of the citizens of the nation. That is why things like treason, for example, can be punished by things that are not otherwise legal. The reason for that is very simple. Once you have committed treason, you are no longer considered to be a member of that nation. And as you are no longer a citizen, you cannot expect to be protected by the same rights as other citizens, because you have forfeited that right. Uh-oh. Hand grenade.
Shields on!
All hand grenades. Shooty dude first. Then you. God damn, the throwing arm on these motherfuckers. Right, there we are. Whereas now, we've essentially created a definition of traitor that was perfectly fine during an era where, again, you could naturally assume that citizens would be loyal to the nation. That is no longer the case. We have now developed political philosophy that weaponize citizenship against a nation. You can again see this in California too, where you have Antifa fighting alongside the Mexicans, who are fighting for, of course, a state, government, etc., in essence. And you've got straight-up socialists like Hassan Piker there as well. You have an alliance of anti-American forces in what is obviously a movement against the state. These are traitors. However, because they are civil traitors, and they claim the protections of citizenship and free speech in the United States, you can't quantify them as such. So they're not traitors, which means you can't take away their citizenship. And if you can't take away their citizenship, no matter what, well, you can safely have them agitate for literally anything under the guise of the free speech protections of the United States, even if that speech is actively undermining the fundament of the nation, even if the intent of that speech is to undermine the nation. Which, again, is absolutely what's going on right now. Which is, finally, why denaturalization is going to have to be a thing. As a nation... Well, what was the quote? A nation divided against itself cannot stand? Well, unironically true. Did I go to the Hollow Hammer? I don't think I did. Is that the 4th trial, perchance? I probably should actually do the trials at some point. I don't think I've been here before. I don't think I've been here before. Luckily, the wings of the Ornithopter does not have collision models, which is very convenient. Up there, I'm presuming. No? Yes? No? Confused. Mucho confused. Did I go past it? Was it there? No. Right. Well, I remain mucho confused. It's not up, is it? Because the icon was there. Let's see. Aha! There, I could have climbed all that way, but that was a lot quicker and a lot easier. There we are. A hollow hammer. The hungry hammer. One of the 20th century's many failed ideologies. Right, I'm about to be shy-haluded at some more. Snort. It is a rock, but it is also a hammer. It is a hammer, but also a rock. It is both, and one at the same time. It is two, and one. It is one and two. This is very deep.
How do we honor the Creator? Ibn Tertaiba. Our enemies are as blades of grass mown down. Do you understand, Wally? Our God gave us the gift of Tao and the words of the Kitan Alibar. Knowledge without action is empty. Be
a video game. That was one fucking... Jesus. That was one hell of a turn. But video game, it's really kind of too late for a combat tutorial at this point. Even if my... The tracking! The fucking tracking! Why are you throwing rocks at me? I see you have been playing for 30 hours. It is time we introduce you to melee combat. Otherwise, you might not understand the purpose of your mouse keys. That is true.
During our wandering, we came to Salisas. It was a place devoid of gods, where the drums of war were constant, and violence was the religion. Where the lives the heart, never to forgive, never to forget.
Uh-huh. Could you give me a better weapon? Because my actual sword does like way more damage than this. Like, listen. I'm more of a sword and rapier kind of guy. This whole East Side London thing, not really my speed, you know? Sandpeople, sandpeople. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I was about to say, this is one of those things where you're supposed to get killed eventually, isn't it? Because when you get killed, you'll learn a valuable lesson. The valuable lesson is, never go to London. Even if you fight off the first 7 or 9 attackers, there will be more. Ugh. I have special superpowers now. Whoa. I do have special superpowers now. I can kick people in the face. Neat. I've always wanted the power to kick people in the face. Eek. Got that. Snack. Ah, stop, I was distracted by Snack. Witness me, Snack. Oh. Oh, God help me. We were talking about Atomic Heart overstaying its welcome a little while ago. I feel as if this is a lesson that needs to be learned by more developers. Temple? It was built by the bodies of the Sand People I slain. Maybe. Possibly.
How do we honor the Creator? We fight.
With blood!
Ibn Qurtaiba, how do we honor?
How do we honor a god with blood and stabbings? You know, that would almost be a little bit funny. If during one of East London's countless stabbing, the attacker was shouting "Whateeb" whilst he was doing it. You know, it would throw people for a little bit of a loop. Instead of simply assuming, oh, it was probably a Middle Eastern foreigner, you throw that in there, you know? It's a little bit of a curveball to expectations. To show that, yes, people are partially correct for assuming that, but not entirely. Spice. You now experience the effect of spice. Consuming spice and being exposed to spice fuels the progress towards a prescient state. Alright, let's start really cool. Increase average health, illustrates immunity to poison effects. Nice. Aha. Okay. Right, I was wondering what all of that spiced food and stuff was for, and I suppose it's for this. That is very good to know, video game. Thank you. It was not just a combat tutorial. Real said it made good sense. Can you also explain Dev's argument? Oh, Dev didn't have an argument. That's what I was explaining to Dev. That's a bit mean. Dev didn't understand the difference between a militiaman and a soldier, so I explained that to him. And Dev's more generalistic idea was that Trump escalated things by deploying the National Guard. Okay, so this is an entirely reasonable take on the surface level of it, right? As we talked about earlier, the reason why we have police and the military is because one is supposed to serve and protect the people, the other is supposed to protect us against foreign enemies and enemies of the state, right? This all... Where's my Ornithopter? How the fuck is it down there? How the fuck is it all the way down there? This all makes sense, and so under normal circumstances, you would not want... Am I on top of the hammer? I'm on top of the hammer, aren't I? Oh, that's going to be an intriguing climb. I sure hope there is a slightly less intriguing way down from the hammer. And so, you can easily say that, okay, you should not deploy troops, as Dev put it, which troops is the incorrect word here, as troops refer specifically to soldiers rather than militia. You should not deploy troops... Oh, this is the way down, probably. You should not deploy troops against rioters, as doing so would make them feel like enemies of the state, which they are not. They are supposed to be the citizens that should be served and protected. And thus deploying troops, which would inevitably then exacerbate the situation, as the populace would go like, oh, you can't do that, you can't send soldiers against us, we're people, will cause them to grow more violent, and the situation will spiral out of control. This is a reasonable thing to think, but again, it is... Where the fuck is my Ornithopter? Is it underneath me? It is underneath me. It is yet again fundamentally based on the assumption that you are dealing with civilians, that you are dealing with innocent, normal citizens. And again, my opinion is we are not. The rioters in LA are not citizens. They are, for all reasonable definitions and purposes, enemy combatants. They are the foot soldiers of an ideology that wishes to undermine the United States of America, which is easily demonstrated by the fact that we are using the flags of a foreign nation to identify themselves, and they are allying with every single anti-American organization out there. You've got people wearing the Palestinian scarves, you've got unironic Marxists and socialists marching alongside them, Antifa, etc., etc. These people should not be defined as just regular, silly old citizens. Right. Is my inventory pretty much full? Probably is. So Jar, since lasers in Dune cause nuclear bombs, would a deployable shield generator mortar round that you could launch at an enemy base and then shoot it with the laser be feasible? Curry, Foxhole, and Reed Worm. Well, yes, it wouldn't even be that difficult. All you would need is a small shield generator inside of a mortar shell, linked up to a device capable of generating a laser beam, and you've got a nuclear bomb. I imagine that is one of the setting's slight oversights, as, surely everyone would just nuke each other at that point. Why not? Nuke seems rather effective. And the whole rationalization around that is, of course, the why don't they have shields on Dune? It's a little author excuse for it. Disassemble all of that into something that's hopefully mildly more useful. What else did I carry around with me? Stuff. Lots and lots of stuff. Stuff is primarily deposited over here. That most of the stuff emptied out? It is. More useless Solari? Well, probably not useless. It probably is good for something. In fact, it's almost certainly good for something. I just haven't quite necessarily figured out what that something is yet. Alright, then we go through the blood we did. More blood. More blood for the industry. Delicious. And there goes all of my water. Sigh. All of my fucking water. Gone. Just like that. Hexy, a non-citizen invader must be treated harshly. Yes, necessarily so. Right, so vehicle repair is obviously good, and we're going to learn that. Fuel efficiency is obviously good, and we're going to learn that. Explorer. Navigating and traversal. That does sound useful. Cartographer. Sync chart of the area. That's going, but you'll require a blank sync chart inventory. I don't know what a sync chart is. Climbing stamina drain. I don't really need that. Steel suit seals. That's kind of nice. Ooh, vehicle mining bonus. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Nice, very nice. And that still does not fucking Hunter Seeker. Skill at Advanced Mentat Trainer. I've been to the Advanced Mentat Trainer. I've been to the Advanced Mentat Trainer so many fucking points. Maybe you need X amount unlocked or something. Or maybe I need to go to the Mentat trainer to train even more for some reason or another. God help me. Well, for now, give me a bigger and better gun turret. A bigger A better gun turret. Contract listener. Investigate the runaway base. Things and stuff. Things and things. I have 300 research points, which is a lot. Buggy booster. Do I want a buggy booster? I might want a buggy booster. I shall have a buggy booster. I mean, assault ornithopter. We're gonna want that at some point. Rocket launchers. I like the idea of rocket launchers. Buggy rocket launcher. Oh, I see. I see indeed. Carrier ornithopter. Oh. I am intrigued. Iodine pills. That sounds useful, probably. Melange spice wine. Wind turbine. Spice refinery. Power pack. Cutteray Mark 5. I don't need that. It's gonna be using the car anyways. Large wind trap. Now that would be useful. Mercenary steel suit. You wouldn't happen to have a bigger, better... Water from a corpse. High quality repairs, that's probably smart. Oh, have I gone through it all? No, I haven't. Fucking aluminium welding torch. Mouse corpse. What the fuck? Mouse corpse. Huh. I guess some weapons. Adapt, Jabbar spit dart. Adapt. Mercenary armor. Heal kits I've never been using at all. Radiation suit. I feel as if the radiation suit is one of those things that is going to become obviously useful at some point. I'll worry about that later. Oh god. Now I guess I'm just waiting for water, I suppose. Lots and 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 lots of water to finish refining the 1,000 aluminium ore, requiring 200 water each. Good god, how much is that? Oh. A lot. Good to know. I need bigger blood purifiers. Unironically, that's kind of what I wanted the most. I would like a bigger blood purifier that purifies more blood quicker. That's what I want. God, you need so much aluminium. So much fucking aluminium. Speaking of, contract issuer. Anvil trade post. Ah. Sabotage a mission store at Kant's Tower. Wait. Is that the one that gives me something unique? Let me check. Archer's Empire of Blood, yes. It is the fluid upon which all other things is based. Without blood, Arrakis would not be possible. Thus, blood is the most important resource on Arrakis. And yet it is being hoarded by all of these silly, dirty, filthy humans. Way of the Wanderer, a pistol that does 16 damage, compared with my current weapon doing 27 and 89 damage respectively. Not convinced that was worth it. I shall throw it in the recycler and grind it up into dust. I really need to rebuild this base. Somewhere a little bit less ugly.
Trick or treat. Can I smell your feet?
Crush. God damn it, blood machines. Squeeze faster, harder, more energetically. Don't you understand? We need to create more blood-soaked aluminium ingots so that we can create vehicles from Vita. You know, this is kind of making me want to just have like a full-on like murder game, honestly. Like, imagine, if you will. I should go get some more schematics whilst we're here. Imagine, if you will, a homunculi simulator, right? Where you're playing something like a necromancer or a Frankenstein-style character, where you create armies of the undead by raiding graveyards and cutting off limbs and so on. Yes. That would be a fun little video game. Your primary harvests are people. Yeah, you start out slow by raiding the occasional graveyard here and there to get yourself the baseline components for your army. Then, as your army grows larger, more competent and aggressive, you can start to aggress upon small villages and hamlets, with the eventual goal being to create an undead mass empire. Yes, I like this idea. Mercenaries, anyone? Though someone left a threatening letter on my car, just got done talking to the police about threat to my life that was left behind. Martial law can't come soon enough to California. Sounds like it. I hope it's nothing. I hope it's just a joke or something silly. Hello? Anybody here? Everybody's dead. Investigate a runway base. Huh. Well, that was simple enough. That was very much so simple enough. Off we go to the next base. I love the sound the Ornithopter makes. It's a nice swap-thwop sound. It's comforting. And it sounds really cool when it passes overhead, too. Sounds like a bunch of helicopters. I like it.
Trick or treat.
Kant's Tower.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
A Coriolis storm will hit Arrakis in 1 hour. I don't know what that is. Mr. X21, I'll tag you on Twitter with the image. Go ahead and do, yes. Oh, sniper. I think Plum Plum said something about it being like a weekly event to reset mining nodes or something. Your shield is useless against my pew-pew. And don't you forget it. See, I also don't want to necessarily get too much out water, because I'll have to leave all of that water behind once I eventually switch bases. But if I turn it all into aluminium first, I won't need to worry about that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, indeed. Right. Let's see how good this new turret is, I suppose.
You ignorant slut.
Oh. Very good, as it turns out. Stab it, stab it, stab it. Tigerfish, Arch, I blame you for getting me into Star Sector. I do need to play that game more too. But, you know, Dune is big new game, so gotta play some Dune. Plus, Dune is kind of fun. And there's Stamford Bridge this week, so gotta do that. Then there's Stellar Blade, so gotta do that. And I gotta sneak in Terra Invicta there somewhere, because Terra Invicta is my emotional support video game. Terra Invicta is what I play when I want to enjoy myself, when I want to have fun. I don't care. See, normally, we start abandoning series once they, like, start dipping beneath the, 200 people watching, because, that's a sign from chat that they're just not interested anymore. They're bored and fat, and want to go over and do something else with their penises. Largely. But Terra Invicta, I don't care. There could be 2 people watching. I don't give a fuck. That's the best game ever, goddammit. And I cannot wait for it to be done. Oh my god, I cannot wait for it to get expansions. I want new starting years. I want eras. I want an alien invasion in the Cold War, for fuck's sake. I want to start in, like, the 1970s and start developing, like, nonsense spy gadgets with James Bond-style shit. Ah, that'd be so much fun. Maybe even World War II? Why not? What's stopping us? World War II alien invasion. Although I imagine the view of an enormous European empire with a huge swastika on it might trigger some people, so there's that. And I want to see more aliens. You know what would be really awesome is if there was randomization of the aliens. Now that would be fucking cool. Like a brand new alien invader that does things differently. New factions as well that do things differently too. Maybe new future tech, or even better. You know what we need? Okay, so 100-hour campaign to defend Earth. It's just not enough. That's baby fodder. We need more than that. Let's add on a 50 to 100-hour campaign to invade the aliens. Yes. Let's go through the Stargate and attack their home world. Yes. Or maybe even a campaign where you play as the aliens. Honestly, that would probably be way too fucking easy. You'd have to impose all kinds of, like, basically bullshit restrictions on the player in that case. Because all you'd really need to do is just fly into orbit, deposit all of your warships there, and be like, I'm going to start orbital bombarding you now. And, not really anything the human can do at that point. Maybe an alien council that goes like, no, we can't let the humans know we're here. Listen, they're already killing our agents. I think they're aware. I want to counter-invade the aliens, though. That sounds fun. Now we're the ones carrying out terror missions. Yes. I haven't actually mapped this sector yet, so let's do that. I could mine some aluminium on the way here as well, as there's actually aluminium on top of these little spire nodes here. But my current problem isn't getting more aluminium. My current problem is turning the aluminium I have into ingots. Buys water. I'm gliding!
You ignorant slut.
That's probably far enough. Time to probe the sky. What kind of crevices does the sky possess? Mr. Twisted Frenzy, do you think Trump has what it takes to be a genuine monarch? If not, who do you think will be king when the US transcends from a republic to an empire? That's a difficult question. I don't think Trump would be a good king, honestly. He's too easily swayed by his advisors. I think Trump would be too much of a puppet emperor too quickly. And I don't think that's a good thing. As Trump has on a couple of occasions demonstrated that he is occasionally ruled by the man who speaks to him last. This is not good. There's also, of course, the problem with, over here. Enter the sorting center within the testing station. Is that it? The problem with a modern day nation is that I'm not entirely sure it can be ruled like a good old-fashioned monarchy. In a monarchy, it was obviously the job of the monarch to make the majority of the decisions. He was in turn trusted with great power, great luxury, but also great responsibility, as he was the guy who made the decisions. And was expected to be both very erudite and surrounded by other people equally erudite. But the decisions of a good old-fashioned monarchy are, well, child's play compared to today. Like, imagine trying to make a ruling on global warming, for example, where you have one side of the aisle going like, no, you must understand, Mr. President. Everyone agrees. This is a done deal. But in reality, actually, quite a few people disagree on the exact nature, ooh, was that a hand grenade? on the exact nature and extent of global warming, whether or not it's man-made, what we can do with it, how we should counteract it. Assuming that it is man-made, how do we stop it? How do we reverse it? Can we reverse it? What would be the costs of reversing it? Yada, 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 yada. This, of course, also all coming on top of the question, even if it is indeed something that we can stop, something that we should stop, or something that has already gone too far to be stopped. And then it's reckoning with the propagandas. Again, the entire... I remember watching The West Wing like a few years ago, which is a rather woke show. Before we even knew what woke is, you can see like the outlines there. The Democratic Party has been subverted by wokeist nonsense far, far longer than anyone ever really understood or believed. But even in that show, there's an episode that goes like, oh, you know, climate change has already gone too far. We can only talk about mitigating it now. There's no stopping it. At which point you also kind of go like, okay, well, if we literally can't do anything, why bother? And then, of course, there's the further moral implications. So, one of the best ways to slow global warming, assuming that it, you know, works like everybody says it does and thinks it does, well, emissions. We need to get rid of emissions, all right? What is one of the best ways to get rid of emissions? It is by reducing the amount of things like vehicles that emit these harmful gases, all right? How do we do that? Well, the third world wants to motorize. The third world wants to have cars and industries and all of the things the West has had. Do we deny the Browns the opportunity to do what we did? If so, how do we justify this to the Browns? Can we go up to them and go like, no, 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 the climate, you see? And is that an excuse that they're likely to accept? Or will they simply, unreasonably enough, turn to us and go like, no, no, Whitey, our turn now? And when they inevitably do, as they are already doing, mind you, with things like governmental subsidies against global warming and climate change and yada, 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 where India has the audacity to complain about only being given a few $100 billion to fix their own problems, what do? Do we simply enforce our will upon them? Do we institute the climate dictatorship and go like, no, Habib, you will stop, but what if I don't? Well, then we'll demonstrate that we still have the ability to bomb you. And I sort of kind of worry that the sheer amount of these complications will be far too much for any one individual to engage with really any degree of competence. That was supposed to have killed you. Oh. Stuck in a corner.
I have lost.
Oh, little sword guy.
A large sandstorm is approaching.
Oh my fucking. Sandstorm? Really? Oh, god damn it. Come on, die! There we go. Right, now, can I get out there before the sandstorm arrives and fucking wrecks my Ornithopter? Or is the Ornithopter already getting actively wrecked? Come on, little chopper popper. Don't be dead. It's a really long fucking walk back home. mind, this is actually an enclosed area. Ah. Not entirely sure how that works, but I'll take it. Raven, hey, largely. Still a no coffin up 3 stream, sadness, but yes, Terra is fun till you get the space part. At least when I felt annoying with space battles. Yeah, the space battles are one of the weakest parts. It is true. What was I thinking about? Ah, yes. So, the annoying thing with the space battles is that every time an enemy attacks you, you need to manually order your fleet to intercept, which is just laborious. They really need to create just a garrison system. If I have a fleet orbiting Mars or whatever, the game should simply just ask me, hey, would you like to sally your fleet out to intercept this enemy? As 9 times out of 10, the answer is going to be, yeah, otherwise they'll blow up my ship. It's just too many gosh darn clickies otherwise. Especially with the sheer number of alien fleets fucking attacking you. We are on Worm Sign server, by the way. I see the question on Rumble. We are on Worm Sign. It's the name of the server. So, Jard, climate change science is nonsense. They've been predicting that every upcoming decade we're going to suffer environmental catastrophe. Yet nothing ever happened. Read Worm, Foxhole, Curry. Yes, and again, that is also one of the big problems. There has been the faith, the good faith in the science in this question has been brutally abused for far too long. Add that to 90 and Foxhole. To the point now that even if you were to manage to prove it, a lot of people probably just wouldn't care. Or be so convinced by all of the other false scares that they don't want to care anymore. You've got to be very careful when you start crying wolf. Very careful. Oh, there's a lot of loot down here. And I do need more... Oh. I see someone too. Well, that person just grenaded himself. That's too bad for him. What was that about? I don't know. I've forgotten what I was talking about. Which happens worryingly often. I'm sure it was something good. Ah, uncover Shimo's current location. Finding Shimo. That'll help me figure out why I'm down here in the first place. Vast quantities of utterly useless gun parts. Yay. I hope they introduce some sort of a system to convert some certain parts into other parts. I would very much so like to convert the 500 weapon parts I have into mechanical components. Ah. Shimo has gone somewhere else. Fucking Shimo. I hate him. Or her. I don't honestly know what Shimo is.
You ignorant slut.
Could be a man, could be a boy, could be a woman. All these things are possible. Perhaps even likely. So, Jard, they are starting predictions. They started predicting all this stuff from the 60s, and every prediction failed. There's apparently a storage tool for the Ornithopter, by the way. Oh, yes, I remember seeing that. I should probably use that, because I've just been parking my vehicles around willy-nilly and hoping that a sandstorm doesn't blow them away, and to be fair, that strategy has worked out surprisingly well so far, but there might be a limit on how many times I can get lucky. Calibrated servox. I don't need calibrated servox. Remember the ring amplifiers either. Now, let's go back and see how the blood production is going. A swooping eagle. Or vulture, actually, in this case. The machines must feed with more and more blood. Otherwise, their poor little grindy gears will get all sticky and unlubricated. And we wouldn't want that. Another thing that, well, is that all of our bases are shielded too, within 5 feet of the sandworm. And I feel as if the sandworms would grow very, very upset by all of these shields right next to them, but for some mysterious reason, they seem entirely fine with it. Strange. Very strange indeed. Toss all the garbage in the shredder. I do love the auto-sort system. The quick deposit is really nice. You don't need to worry about where everything goes all the time. Oh, and a piece of armor. If only you could recycle more stuff. Another 8,000 Solari. Does that... Yes, that brings my thing to overflowing. Well, shit. I'm going to reach a point in the not-too-distant future where I am actually overflowing with money. I really should find something to spend that garbage on. Something worthwhile, perhaps, even. I don't necessarily know what that's going to be, but something. How's the blood production? Good, good, good. Keep producing. The blood of mine enemy smooths the rotation of mine cog. Right, in about 742 hours, that should be enough aluminium ingots for my next car. I think. I hope. I ideally hope and ideally pray. Oh. I only have 9 complex machinery. I feel like I have more than 9 complex machinery. Maybe not. Also, one thing I should probably check out. Alright, the taxation thingy. Where was that? Taxi service. Speak with the taxation vendor. Is there a taxation vendor? Because I know you got to pay taxes, but I have no idea where. Arco Village, speak with Imperial Tax Vendor about paying your taxes. Arakeen and Harco Village. You know the consequence of tax delinquency. Arakeen. Right. I should pop over to Arakeen then. You got fuel? Yeah, you got fuel. Oh. Right. Ornithopter. Deposit, 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 deposit. Right, well, if we're going to Arakeen anyway, might as well bring along my cash. And figure out how much money I owe the state. One never knows, this government might be more reasonable than my own. They might only want a few thousand Solari from me. Important warning, incidentally, is to not glide into the wall here, for you see, if you do, that is a physical wall. And you will smack into it rather violently, so hover. Hover neatly. Track, and I figured out how the tracking thing works. Arakeen. There's a little arrow next to your thingy-bob. You shall follow the arrow and be happy. There's fuel and water out in the desert, but you may not mine it. It is not yours. Property of the Emperor. Sandcrawlers. That is nowhere near as cool as the one in the movie. That just looks like a dumbass vacuum cleaner. I want the big one. The massive one. The huge one that needs to be lifted away by a fucking dirigible. Right. So, who do I report my taxes to? Who's the taxman? Ah, tax collector. I'm sure he's a popular individual. God, imagine going to pay your taxes in person voluntarily. Ugh. What is fucking wrong with this universe? Hello, Mr. Vampire.
Keep your distance. We can converse at arm's length. What do you want?
$2,000. Jesus.
You again? What now? Besides suffering this audience with you? Oh, you really expected an answer. I am the Imperial Treasurer here in Arrakeen. As such, it is my sworn duty to receive, count, and convey His Imperial Highness's right and proper incomes. There are times we're all forced to endure the unpalatable. For me, this conversation is one of those times. The simple answer is some faceless mentat auditor will promptly notice the omission. And then it's only a matter of time before the Imperial House bailiff is deployed to find you and enforce defrayment.
Aha, so if I kill the people that come to my house, I don't have to pay taxes.
Greetings. I trust I need no introduction.
Ah. Killing the taxman is an alternative. I can't say it isn't tempting. I can't say it's not tempting. I gotta recover these documents. Did I finish that one? Yeah, I did. Didn't I? Yes. Oh yes, the Mentat. Wanting to see if he could give me more training. Nickel Necco, in the lore of Dune, it would be illegal to use a calculator on your taxes. As such, you must hire a professional agent to calculate them for you. Doom 2016. Well, I am going to inform you now that it's illegal to use a calculator on your taxes in Norway as well. You have to hire a professional to do them for you. And if you earn a certain amount of money, you need to then hire a second professional to check that the first professional didn't fuck it up.
We are all thick. I have recorded the blood data from the Atreides deserters as well. He will see its value. He will...
Accepted contract. Did you just send me to talk to her again? Yes, you did. Good for Howitt. All right, off we go. And yes, Chad, I'm not lying. It's you have to have an accountant, and it's for businesses that earn over a certain amount. Now, before you can actually deliver your taxes, you receive the tax document, and you're like, okay, this is how much I earned. These are the things I claim, the tax benefits, blah blah blah. Here you go. You could do that. The government decided to make that illegal. Now you must either use a tax program, like an official tax program that you have to pay for yourself, of course. And if you are a company, you need to pay a accountant. If you're a little bit larger than that, you got to pay an accountant. And you have to, or else it's straight up not legal. And if you earn more than, I think it's like, what? Like, what's it, $400,000, $500,000 a year? Or something like that, I think. Then you have to have a second person, a revisor, to go over the accountant's paperwork to check that the accountant paperwork did it correctly. So you're paying somebody to look at your taxes
I'm afraid
twice.
I'm a very busy man. Unless you have something compelling to share with me. I predicted this would happen, though I prayed I was wrong. Let's have it then. Well, bring me a mnemonic film, or do not. In fact, I would prefer the latter.
And then I walk on back again. Nickel Necco. Norway so advanced they already survived a Butlerian jihad. Doom 2016. Norway. And the best part of it all is, let's assume that you've done all of this. You've had your taxes checked twice. If there is still a mistake, if the accountant made a mistake, and the guy checking the accountant's work also made a mistake, it's still your fault, and you're still legally responsible for the mistake.
Calculated you returning. Did you show my data? That does not calculate. I did everything right. My data was impeccable.
He's upset.
Everyone lets emotion corrupt their logic. I do not understand their slavish surrender to the illogical. Yes, of course. Above all, the mentat say, then let us begin. You continue to...
Anomaly for rapid learning. I'm fucking clever, I am. Really, really fucking clever. Level 73. Skill point 1, intel point 30. Now, there's supposed to be a thing here of a planetologist. Is that unlocked yet?
Very well. What do you want?
No. Upsetting. Very upsetting, in fact. Does that finally give me the ability to have my thing, the Hunter-Seeker? I can! Right, give me the Hunter-Seeker. Aha. I can now stab people at a distance. Hold on. Move that over. Oh, is that an automatic X ability? It is, isn't it? Sigh. Right. First, we'll add that to Doom 2016. Then, let's try and figure out if there's anything I can buy here that's worth anything. Maybe the Choom Guild? Hey, Choomers!
Welcome. Would you like to deposit or withdraw Solaris? How much Solaris would you like to deposit?
All of it!
Welcome. Would you like to deposit or withdraw Solaris? How may I assist you? The Solari is the physical medium of exchange in the Imperium. It is circulated in myriad paper and coin denominations, or micro-Solaris as they are known. The Imperial economy relies on the Solari to facilitate many core. However,
Your voice upsets me. I'm gonna leave now. Right, I gave that nice bald man all of my money. I wonder if that was intelligent. I wonder if I'll get interest on it. I wonder if I'll ever see that money again. I wonder, can I purchase things with money I have in the bank?
Hey there, friend. Looking for anything special?
I can! Wow, look at that! Isn't that just fucking fantastic or something? Wow.
Welcome back.
Bigger buggy boot. Designed for speed. 55,000. Gosh, godly, goodly, godly, goodly, goodly, goodle. That's a lot of money.
Welcome back.
I need to go
You
faster.
trying to catch something, or avoid getting caught? Frost speed is what you're after. There are a bunch of engine mods that'll juice top speed and acceleration. But engine mods are only part. If you want to be faster than the next guy, boost modules give you a significant short term. So the next time you're racing to... What's it to you?
Stuff. Well, there are things to spend money on. I just don't know what to spend the money on, so I'll just keep it in the bank now with the nice bald guy. Now, home. I kind of wish you could just click on home and go home instead of, you know, going to the overworld, holding down the button, slowly flying over there. Would you like to purchase your very own vacuum cleaner? You can use it to gather spice. Can you now? It looks small and gay and dumb. I don't like it. Right. Alright, God's good earth that this deposited me then. Over here, I see. And amongst all of the silly tall spires that makes flying annoying, upsetting. But with that, most of the missions are done. I've got the Mentat training out of the way, so that's nice. Now, the only thing that's left is a bit more grinding, a bit more equipment, and then finally, we can get to the PvP part of the game. Which will hopefully be fun. Hopefully something we can bring in chat along with as well. Finding and killing the enemies of our house. Think of all of the space we can mine. The space spaz. This is the game of manpads. I hope not. That would be even more upsetting. I wish to be safe in my little helicopter. Ah, yes. And the long, hard job of moving all of my shit from point A to point B. Maybe having a larger roof on the next place would be nice too. Maybe. But only maybe. In Dune, we make permanent fixtures out of sheltering our ornithopters. No half measures here. None whatsoever. How's the blood going? Halfway done. Nice. God, we still have... How much aluminium do I have left to grind up exactly? 746. Sweet baby fucking Jesus. Right. That's going to take a while. That is going to take a while. In fact, that's probably going to require another, like, 2 full tanks of blood purifiers. Hoi, hoi. I don't think are these up. I need more of these. I need more wind traps. Not for another 5 hours. Oh. I need more wind traps. I need more of everything. I need more stuff. More power, more infrastructure, more water. Welcome to your average survival crafty game experience. You are going to need more. More of everything. And that's half the fun. Sort of, kind of unironically. But I need to finish my video on the riots in California today, so I gotta get to writing. I've got about 50% of it done, so I shall take a short Dune stream today and recharge for Stellar Blade, which will hopefully be a lot of fun, and we can get that game hopefully even completed. I hope Stellar Blade will be a lot of fun. I hope that'll be a fun game. It better be. They're charging enough for it, bastards. Pal Wordle is easier than this for sure. It is a bit of a grinding game. It definitely is. It does require quite a bit of resources to do everything. Dune demands more blood. Doom demands more skulls. And Lum Lum, anything you need me to do, Archley? No, Lum Lum. You have inflicted enough damage. I will hold that over Lum Lum's head for an extended period of time. I'll see you all again very soon, chat. Till then, have a good day, chat.